Okay, I forgot to give you my little trick or tip that I had for looking at alcohol in those sweet wines. I know sometimes alcohol can be difficult to pick up, particularly when you've got sugar and body there, which is giving you this perception that the alcohol might be high in all of the wines. But if you take that Tokai, which has a low alcohol at 11.5%, and if you taste it next to a Sauterne, which usually has an alcohol content of about 13, maybe even 13.5% in some vintages, then you'll be able to clearly feel that 2% difference in alcohol. And you'll get this sort of warmth, this bitter feeling on the back of your palate in the Sauterne, which you're not getting to quite such a high degree in the Tokai. So get yourself keep a little sample of that Tokai back. Get yourself some Sauterne, and then you can compare and contrast the feel of the alcohol between the two wines. Okay, right. Let's look at our last sample, our last mock exam sample. This is sample D that we're looking at now. Okay, hopefully you're finding this exercise a useful one, an opportunity to get some hints and tips on how to use the systematic approach to tasting, hints and tips on how to use it specifically for the exam. Ultimately, the systematic approach to tasting is there really to help you develop your tasting skills, calibrate your palate with other professionals, but also give you the tools to help you communicate with other tasters, be it guests, clients, friends, family, other people that your co-workers, anybody that you're wanting to communicate with wine about. So the fact that the exam is here is really a test of your ability to communicate. So maybe don't look at it as just a tool to help you pass an exam. It's a tool to help you understand wine. It's a tool to help you communicate better about wine. It's just you have to pass the exam to prove that you can use it and get that qualification, which gives you that credibility. Anyway, I'm hoping that you're finding these videos helpful. You know that I'm here, don't you? If you need anything from me, give me a ring. Let's set up a meeting. I can talk anything through with you. Okay, right. So sample number D, another red wine. It's not quite as deep as B was, but I can't really read that writing through. Certainly not in the core. So I'm going to go deep. Okay, so deep, and this is definitely ruby. There's no purple glints, no purple highlights. We've definitely ruby. I might argue I might accept garnet. Actually, it's got a little bit of orange in the rim, so I might accept garnet for this wine too. So ruby or garnet for the appearance. Okay, so pronounced intensity. Yes, pronounced intensity, aroma characteristics. Again, simple or complex? What do we think? I'm going to go complex. Straight away, I'm going to go complex because I can pick out fresh fruit, I can pick out oak notes, and I can pick out tertiary characteristics like dried fruit, prunes, figs. Okay. So, complex, we're covering all three categories, primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary characteristics, blackberry, black cherry, red plum. It's very plummy, baked and stewed fruits. One of the things you might find really helpful, you don't need to do it for the exam, you're not going to get awarded marks for it, of course, but is to think about why you might be smelling these aromas, why it might be tasting the way it does, why does it look the way it does, because after all, this course is about the application of your knowledge of wine. It's about being able to explain why a wine is the way it is, why it has the style it has, why it has the quality level that it has. So why might this wine have baked and stewed fruit characteristics? Good question. Okay. I'm going to leave that one with you to think about. It's got vanilla, it's got cedar, cinnamon, nutmeg, it's got baking spice characteristics, so we know this wine has been aged in oak probably for quite a long time. And it has dried fruit characters: figs, prunes, dates, raisins, okay, all of those things. So we know that this has had some aging in bottle as well. Primary, secondary and tertiary characteristics. Those tertiary characteristics are still not dominant, so they still fall into that developing category, not fully developed. Okay, fully developed, as I'm sure I've said before, is really reserved for sherries, some of the really long age ports and wines, 15 plus year old wines would probably fall into that fully developed category. Okay, right, developing. Right, let's move on to the palate. Tell me what you think of the taste. Okay, dry, medium plus acidity, perhaps not as high as you might expect from a Riesling, perhaps not even as high as a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Pinot Noir, but it's got good acidity, so we'll say medium plus acid. Same with the tannins. I think I would say medium plus tannins rather than high. Very well integrated. Again, a nice clue that you can use to help you build that argument to evaluate the quality of this wine. Nice integrated tannins, which overall contribute to a nice smoothness in the wine. Alcohol, now that actually feels quite high. I reckon that is on the other side of 14%, so which is the cutoff for medium and moves us into high. 14% will go for high. Alcohol, full-bodied. Usually body and alcohol go in line with each other, so if the wine is high in alcohol, then it has to be full in body. If the wine is low in alcohol, it has to be light in body. There are obvious exceptions to that, and the sweet wine that we had is one of those because the sugar gives it the body instead. But that is a consideration to put in place. Pronounced flavour intensity, but I'm going to go back in and have another taste so we can get a more accurate look at those flavours. Okay, blackberry, black cherry, strawberry. Yeah, some strawberry in there, some baked strawberry characteristics as well. Otherwise, pretty much the same as the aroma characteristics. I know I'm taking the shortcut and I'm saying the flavours are the same as what we got on the nose, but in the exam, you must write them down again. Don't just say same as nose. You've got to rewrite them out, okay? So don't do any shortcutting in the actual exam. Long finish, another outstanding wine. Long finish, those beautifully integrated tannins, lovely level of complexity from dried fruit, from the use of oak, all very sympathetic. Nothing is overpowering or overwhelming. This is a lovely, balanced, beautiful wine. Okay, so this is another outstanding wine. I would say that this is can drink now but has potential, and I'd slip in for further aging because you know it's already had some aging because you've got some significant tertiary characteristics in there. So I would say can drink now but has potential for further aging, and actually I'd be really interested to see how the flavours develop. I think it could add some real positive complexity to the wine. Okay, so what is it? Let me do the reveal. You do know, don't you, that you don't have to identify the wine in the exam. So you don't have to try and explain where you think it came from or what it is. And in fact, I won't be telling you in the exam what the wines are. You'll need to message me privately afterwards if you want to find out what they actually are. But I'm telling you now because it's always really helpful for reference. Okay, this was a Gran Reserva Rioja, Glorioso Gran Reserva Rioja. I have to confess, another of my favourite styles of wine. So I have opened this rather than coravanned it, and my husband and I are going to drink it for dinner tonight. So there we go. I hope you found these videos helpful. I hope you've enjoyed them. I'm not editing them, so accept them as they are. I apologise that it's a bit gritty. Hopefully the sound quality is okay. I've literally just turned the laptop on and recorded. But I hope that they will be of value. And as I keep saying, if you need anything from me between now and the 4th of November, which is when you're taking your exams, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. All right, see you later.